Hello and welcome to the Grianaig Creations podcast. My name is Kirsty. I'm coming to you from the west coast of Scotland, United Kingdom. Said that all very quickly, I do apologise. You can find me on Ravelry as little-b. You can find me on Instagram as Grianaig_creations. You can also search for my patterns if you locate my Ravelry user profile, and you can get the pattern that I will talk about shortly from there. We are on to episode 51. With that, I am also happy to announce that I have managed to reach the 500 subscriber mark, and I am over the moon. Thank you so much. If you're a new viewer and you like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button. That'd be brilliant. And to any viewer, if you enjoy what you see, please do hit the like button as well. And with that, we shall just get started. I have a few announcement type admin things and one kind of ramble thing. The ramble thing to begin with, just to get it out of the way, is that I know a couple of you have been asking. My holiday to New York is cancelled because Thomas Cook have gone under. I'm quite upset about it. I was really looking forward to that trip, but it is what it is. People have lost their jobs and any form of income. I have only lost a holiday that I can get refunded. So in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. So for anyone that is thinking of asking, there is no need. I'm doing okay. Scott and I are doing fine. We're going to use the money that was for the holiday to get a house. And yeah, silver lining for us. Unfortunately, not such a silver lining for those that were employed by the company. And moving on. I am running a knit along for my pattern, which is the undercurrent socks. I don't have the originals here with me, but I have what I'm going to show in my finished objects. This is the undercurrent pattern that you can find on Ravelry for sale. And we are running a knit along from the 1st of October until the 30th of November. Or is it the 31st? I think it's the 31st. I'm not doing 100% brilliantly with dates, and I will elaborate in a second. No, it is the 30th. So we're running this from the 1st of October, which is Tuesday, until the 30th of November. And I say Tuesday because I thought today was the 1st of October. And my dear friend Deborah pointed out to me that that is not the case. That today is purely the 29th? Today's the 29th of September. Tuesday is indeed actually the 1st of October. So on Tuesday we will kick off the knit along for this. I have created a chatter thread in my Ravelry group. If you go in there and you search the Grianaig Creation podcast, my group should pop up. If it doesn't, search under Little B Accessories because that's what it used to be known as. So there is a chatter thread in there for this. I will be drawing a winner at the end of the knit along. Prizes are to be announced. But yeah, I'm really happy with this pattern. I'm so glad I released it. You can still get the original yarn that these were knit in from Giddy Yarns. I will put the website down below, and that was in the hide and seek colour. These ones is not that. Another rambly thing, apologies for any coughing. I was absolutely destroyed by a cold and chest infection last week, and I am still recovering. And the next bit of podcast news / announcement / future something, it's not quite a knit long. I've decided that I am going to be using Stash from now on. I'm going to do my damn hardest to only use Stash, with the exceptions being buying yarn for a custom order, because I do still do amigurumi on the side. Well, not on the side, that sounds really dodgy, but I used to do amigurumi to sell, and I don't do that because of the horrific people that you would get saying that it was not worth money, that they could do better, so on and so forth. So I do have an up and coming order for a family member, so I will need to purchase yarn for that. But when it comes to personal yarn, I am going to do my damn hardest not to buy any, because I have so much yarn sitting under my bed that is just waiting to be used. And I've really enjoyed recently just deciding that I'm going to cast on a new project and pulling out all my boxes and seeing what I have and reminding myself of yarn that I'd forgot I had. So I've decided that for the rest of this year and for next year, I'm going to only use up stash. And for next year going forward, I'm going to do my own version of, so think along the lines of Stash Dash, where you count up the meterage of yarn you used, and then you can see at the end of the year just how much you used up. So that'll be kicking off as of January 1st. If anyone wants to take part, I will open up a thread where you can keep a tally of what you've done, and also to maybe to like include photographs. And then at the end of the year, I will open up a kind of almost like a finished objects thread, but it will be like you could take a picture of all the things you've made with the yarn and then put the grand amount that you have used. So it's kind of similar to one of the knit along type things we done last year. I'm doing this because I do have a lot of yarn that is sitting in my room in a box under my bed, unloved, unseen, and that's a shame, because I've bought it for a reason. I've bought it because I like it, and it's just sitting there. I'm also doing it because, as I mentioned earlier, Scott and I are hoping to move in together, and depending on the size of the house, I might not have the space for all the yarn. So it kind of has that double need to downsize and to use up. I've also really enjoyed, just as I said earlier, pulling out the boxes, deciding I'm going to do a new cast on, and having the yarn right there ready to go. And you'll see that in one of my whip projects that I have to show off this week. You can hear my voice getting a wee bit more croaky as I talk. This is not going to be fun. So anyway, I have one finished object for this week, and you just seen it. I did make the undercurrent socks, which is my pattern, and I knit these in leftover stranded dye works and a random mini. So I had made a pair of socks in the sock blank from Stranded Dye Works, and I was left with a portion of yarn. I say a portion because I did not weigh how much I had left, so I can't say for certain, and I knew it probably wouldn't be enough for full socks, so I decided just to automatically put in contrasting toes and cuffs. The heels are in the main colour, and these are in my undercurrent pattern. So these are knit on 2.25mm needles, and they are done toe up with a German short row heel. I really enjoyed this yarn. I have a soft spot for sock blanks. I like the fact I don't have to cake them up, and that I really enjoyed that, because originally, before I got my electric ball winder, I would have to do it by hand, which does hurt my wrists a fair amount because I have arthritis. So yeah, and I just like the colours as well. I really like how these change. So I was really pleased to use up pretty much every scrap of this yarn. I think I was left with less than 5 grams. So I might put that into a scrappy ball and see what I can get from there. And then maybe make it into like some sort of project, whether that's scrappy socks or a scrappy blanket. Not 100% sure. But there was very minimal yarn left, which I'm really pleased about. So that is my only finished object for today. I have a nearly finished object, and I mean nearly finished. I am working on the toe. So this is being kept in one of my project bags that I make. So I have the first one finished. Pretty sure this one was finished in the last podcast. And maybe it wasn't finished in the last podcast because I was talking about how it was my communal sock. I can't say that word. Especially doesn't help when I've got this cold. And I am now nearly finished the second one. Scott and I went to Edinburgh yesterday to go to Sugar Daddy's, which is a gluten-free bakery in Edinburgh. They have two units. They have a kind of like a city-in one and then more of a kind of takeout one. We go to the city-in one and we get lunch and we get some cakes to bring home. The reason we go all the way through to Edinburgh for there is because they are a gluten-free cafe, restaurant cafe. And for anyone that doesn't know, my partner Scott has celiacs, so he cannot consume any form of gluten. So this is a brilliant gluten-free cafe. So because of that, I wanted to get the heel turn done and onto the straight knitting. So I got the decreases and stuff done, all ready for going on the car yesterday, and I got from the marker until the end of this light blue done yesterday, and the car journeys. So I'm really happy with. It's not a ton, but I did stop knitting on it when I got home, and then I only started the toe decreases today, so I've only really got that much done, and I'm nearly finished the toe decreases, and then these will be going into a box for my mum because these are going to be for her Christmas. So once they're cast off, weave in the ends, maybe a light blocking, and then pop them in to a pile for my mum's Christmas. I have a fair whack of the West Yorkshire spinners left over. So this is the Kingfisher colourway. It doesn't actually say that on the bands. This is what it says on it. These are all the numbers. But it is their Kingfisher colourway, and I'm going to cake this up and weigh it and see how much yarn I have left over, and then from there I'll be able to know whether I can make a pair for myself or whether I need to find a contrasting mini for heels, toes and cuffs, and then there'll probably just be a really nice vanilla pair for me. So I'm really happy about that, the fact that they're so nearly finished. I'll probably just get that toe done today, weave in the ends, and then I can move on to my other project, and that's another finished object. My second last whip is being kept in yet another of my bags. Every single whip I have today is in one of my bags. I would really love to get more of this fabric because I love the Adipoys. I think they're super cute, and it's just got Doctor Who on the inside. So again, I talked about these on my last episode, and I have done just a tiny amount of progress on them. They're the mittens I had on the last episode. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I mention it and show them in the last episode. These are being knit in the Jameson and Smith two ply jumper weight yarn. So it's the white label of Jameson and Smith. And I talked about how I really needed the white on the last episode, and the white has arrived, so I can finish these off. And when I was talking about them last, I was just at this line before you start the purple, I think, maybe down here, but I've managed to get all the way through the purple, and I've started the blue. So I think I only have about 6 more rows of colour work, and then I will do the cuff, and then I need to pop in both thumbs. So really not much more to do, and then these will also be going into a pile for Christmas gifts. Still not 100% sure who to give these to though, because of the type of yarn. So we will see. So my last whip's a biggie, and it stems from really enjoying wearing my Amma sweater my Humulus, and finishing my Sunset Highway was a big motivator, and I decided that I wanted another sweater on the needles. So I knew I wanted to make a heavier weight sweater. So this is DK, as is my Amos sweater. The Sunset Highway is 4-ply. And I don't know if that's why my Sunset Highway took me so long, and the fact I put on a fair amount of weight whilst knitting that, then having to rip it out and re-knit it. But I thought, I really want to make another sweater. Let's make it easy on ourselves and knit a heavier weight sweater. So I remembered that I had bought a couple of packs of Andes, Wool of the Andes in the worsted weight from Knitplex when they were doing a pack of 10 for £20, which was a fair deal. So I remembered buying the Nurtured sweater by Andrea Mallory on Ravelry when it was like, I think it was her birthday deal or something she was doing. And so I printed that off and had a look at it, and I was all ready to start. I'd asked some friends for their input on my colour choices, and then I looked at the yardage, and sadly I didn't have enough yarn. Even though it's a crop sweater, I did not have enough yarn. So I looked into what else I could do with the yardage that I had. Now I probably could have done some sort of striped, but the Nurtured sweater is quite a textured sweater. So like adding in stripes to that was probably going to give myself more of a headache than I required. So I decided that I was going to buy the boxy sweater, but in this case the worsted weight boxy sweater by Hohi Locatelli. I have wanted a boxy for a long time. I don't know if Amy Florence has anything to do with that, but I love the idea of an oversized sweater, and this just seemed the perfect opportune moment because it is a worsted weight sweater, so it's designed for worsted weight yarn. I happen to have worsted weight yarn, and I really like this as well because worsted weight is not really a thing we get in Scotland. We have fingering weight, we have DK, we have Aran, and we have chunky. So worsted is between a DK and an Aran, I think. If not, it's between an Aran and a chunky. I think it's more of an Aran and a chunky. Excuse me. So it's not really a thing we get here, so I don't know many patterns that call for it. I know I can do a search on Ravelry, but so when I knew that there was a worsted weight boxy, it just seemed like the perfect opportune moment to make a worsted weight boxy. So I cast this on a week ago. I have got quite a chunk of it done. I have done the front shoulder shaping on both sides, so you can see that there's a slight increase going over to one side, so there's some short rows on the shoulders. I am working on the back, maybe more that side. Working on the back. I had finished the short rows last night, but there's something wasn't right with what I had done. So I had a look at it and I realised I'd made a mistake just down here. So I ripped all the short row shaping out and down to where I needed to correct, and then I fixed it last night before going to bed. So I just need to sit and do the short row shaping again, and then from there I will be joining the shoulders together, and then I can do the sleeves and it will be finished. So I'm really pleased at how quickly I've got through this. It is a heavier weight sweater, so it's going to knit up a wee bit quicker. I'm knitting this in the second size, so I know the boxy is meant to have a lot of positive ease. What is it, 10 inches or something of positive ease? Through choice, Like, that is your choice if you want to make it with that much positive ease. So I knit the second size, which is on here small, but it's still coming out at, where's the schematic? Still coming out at 68 inches, which is 1920. Is that right? 1920 inch 20. Yeah, it's bigger than I need it to be for me. So it's still going to have some positive ease, especially once I block it and really make it, because that is the sweater there, which is more than me. So it'll be good. I'm really, really looking forward to having this. The wool of the Andes is 50-gram balls, so it seems like a lot of yarn, but when it's only a 50-gram weight ball, then it's not really. And I'm on my 7th ball so far, and I have a couple of progress markers in them to show progress that I've done on a daily basis. This is one of them. This is from Sunnyside Handmade, who is Karen. I'll put her details down below. Karen was at Perth Festival of Yarn, and I didn't buy from her at Perth, and I regretted that. And so I went on once she had updated her Etsy, and I got one for me, a sheep for my mum, and a gauge ruler. So yeah, I got a couple of other markers just kind of dotted around to show my progress, but I should have the short rows done on the back today, and then hopefully I can join the tops of the shoulders and at least start the sleeves. And then I've got the neckband, and then one of the things I forgot to talk about is the fact that I have a contrasting colour on my ribbing, and this is just some leftover yarn that I had. I thought that this would be really, really neat detail to add in, but I don't have too much of it left, sadly. So my thoughts are that because I won't know for certain how much I'm going to get out of this, and the way I've done it is, this is the cast on and one full round, that I will do the neck first. So I'll do the last round and then bind off in this, and then I'm probably then not going to have enough to do both sleeves. So I might find another contrasting colour very similar to this one and do the sleeves, or I might just leave the sleeves in the main colour. It all really depends on how much I have left. I could always do the first sleeve, and then if I don't get the second one, I can always rip out the bind off. So we'll see. I just think it's really nice having that wee pop of colour, and these two go so well. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I just want to knit on it. This is all I really want to knit on, but we'll see. I'm going to try and get those socks finished first. There's no point having them sitting there when there's so little on them to do. But I hope to have this finished to show you guys next week. But yeah, that's all what I've been knitting on. I haven't restarted my crochet blanket. I have an idea of what I want to do for that. But yeah, I haven't started my crochet blanket. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know if I'm going to go through with it or whether I'm just going to like pick a pattern that's already online. I don't think I have another sort of project I want to get finished, but I'm still trying not to cast on too many new things. I'm still trying to get all the old things off the needles so that I can then cast on all the things. I feel like I have other things I wanted to talk about and I've now totally forgotten what they are. Sorry for the sniffing and the coughing. I'm still under the weather. using up stash, cow, working on old whips. No, I think that's me. Sorry for my appearance today. I couldn't be bothered putting on any form of makeup. And growing out your hair is a pain in the butt. So headbands are my friend right now. Do you like my ear stretches? So I wanted to stretch my ears years ago. I don't know what it is about them that I like. I just know I like them, and I really wanted to stretch my ears many years ago. I'm talking about 9 years ago, if not 10. And I was at that point with a partner that was very outspoken about other people's appearance. He didn't like my lip piercings. He didn't like the idea of ear stretches. And I refused to take my lip piercings out, but his choice of words when it came to my ear stretches really kind of made me scared to do it. And then the inevitable happened. We did end up splitting up, and it wasn't because I had my ear stretches. So I decided that enough was enough, and I started stretching my ears about a year and a half ago. And I'm now up to 6mm on this one and 5mm on this one. And I would like to get up to, I think, 8mm or 10mm. And I decided I needed new stretches to do that. And I really like the look of these ones. These are kind of like tribal. And I think they look really cool. I understand they can be a wee bit intimidating to some people, but I'm a nice person, I promise. But yeah, I'm really enjoying them. I can sleep in these, which is really, I didn't think I would. I thought they would maybe like stab my neck, but I can actually sleep in these. I have woken up once with where it's been like sat like that, so it's been almost out, but it hasn't fallen out just yet. But yeah, I think that's me. I don't think I have anything else. But there's something in the back of my head saying you're forgetting to talk about something. And it'll be the case of I will pack everything up and tidy up and then go sit down to knit, and then I'll remember what it is. Oh yeah. For the using up stash next year, I would like to draw, like to make a prize to make it more, not to give motivation to use up stash, but for there to be a kind of a pot of gold at the end. And I'm curious, if we're going to be doing something that uses up stash, is a yarn prize acceptable, or would it be more notions and a project bag? Let me know. I can also maybe get a chatter thread started up, but we'll be looking to really kind of have the official start date as January 1st. But I'm going to be using up stash as of now moving forward, because I just have so much beautiful yarn that I am neglecting and I have probably forgotten about. But I would be really interested to hear your thoughts on that, to see if, because I don't know, I feel that there's something really weird about doing something to use up stash, but then at the end of it being like, here's some more to add to your stash. But my thought process also is, you've used up stash, so having something new could be a good thing. I don't know. But I also wanted to say that I have joined in the project bag swap that is going on Instagram. It is set up by the project bag swap people. That is their tag, project bag swap. And I'm also thinking about borrowing an idea from my friend Deborah and doing a pattern swap over Christmas. If anyone is interested, let me know in the comments down below. And what I mean by this is, instead of trying to put a box together for Christmas and then try and get it through the Christmas post, if you were interested, we could like match people up. So pair people up, not match them, pair people up. And from there, you buy a pattern for them on Ravelry or on Etsy. Probably better doing it on Ravelry, of an equivalent between. Deborah has hers up to $10. I don't know what the equivalent of that is, so I'm gonna say up to £8. So if anyone's interested in doing a pattern swap, I'm getting confused with what I just talked about and what I'm now talking about, let me know in the comments down below. I think it'd be a really good idea. I love the idea of making swap parcels and sending them, but I know that postage can be quite expensive. Receiving things from the States can have a hefty customs charge, and also just generally having to wait on the post can be a pain in the butt. So I think a pattern swap could be quite interesting. So you just put things in a wish list, and then once you're matched up with your person, you can be like, right, this is at the top of my wish list, or surprise me from my wish list. So if anyone's interested, like I've said, put something down in the comments, or I'll maybe start a thread. I think I'd rather hear in the comments before starting a thread, but I'm really, really interested to do this. If nobody takes any interest, I'm certainly going to be doing it over on Deborah, who is Physicist of a Farm Gal. Her podcast is brilliant. If you haven't already watched it, I'll be joining up for her pattern swap. So if no one has any interest on here, I'll be doing it on hers anyway. But I just thought that it was a really, really good idea, and that I don't think Deborah would mind me borrowing that for my podcast. But yeah, blathered on enough, even though this probably could have been like a 20-minute podcast. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.